right, good afternoon and welcome on board to Scoreboard Reloaded right here on 32 FM 94.9. Well, we are here to discuss about the sporting stories that making the rounds and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They top our attention for this lovely day, the third day in the 9th month of the year 2025. It's all about the bid to qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup. The last edition in Qatar, the Super Eagles of Nigeria were found wanting after losing out to the hands of the Black Stars of Ghana on an aggregate scoreline. But for the World Cup are set to go down there in the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. Can the Super Eagles of Nigeria qualify? Having found themselves that's in 4th position, just behind South Africa, Uganda, and Benin Republic in a bid to qualify for the 2026 World Mundial. Well, players are talking tough. Ex-managers are saying if we don't qualify, someone should be blamed. The federation should be blamed. But then the head coach of the South African national team, that's Hugo Broos, has come out to also talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, all Nigerians wanting them to be dogged 3 points. And then he said they get the job done over the course of the weekend, which is on Friday. They are true to the FIFA Men's World Cup. Yes, indeed. They get a victory. Nigeria fails to get match. And this is all still within the conversations of getting 3 points deducted or not. We take a listen to the words of Hugo Broos on the show this lovely afternoon. Not only Hugo Broos, we would also take a listen to the words of NFF General Secretary Dr. Mohamed Sanusi, also speaking about a point deduction that should be the focus for Nigerians at this point in time. Well, outside the Nigerian football, we'll also discuss about a bit of football from the European scene before we talk about tennis stories on the show. Novak Djokovic is aiming for his 25th major Grand Slam to stand alone as the GOAT when we talk about the world of tennis. But he's said to have it uneasy against Carlos Alcaraz. So this and so many more will definitely react to on today's edition of the show right on 32 FM 94.9. But we start straight from the Super Eagles of Nigeria, where all players are in camp. The 3-time African champions, the late arrivals happens to be the new boys who just found the club side in England. Tolu Arokudare, who switched sides from Genk in Belgium to join up with Wolverhampton Wanderers there in England. Samuel Chukwueze leaving AC Milan to join up with Fulham on loan. And then we'll talk about Victor Osimhen, who made his move permanent from Napoli to join up with Galatasaray, as well as the man who, like I said this morning, has been included in Atlanta's UEFA Champions League squad for the 2025-2026 football season. His name is Ademola Lookman. They are the late arrivals. So we take a look at all the players in camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria on the show this afternoon. And you're listening to the voice of Oluwatimileni SAMIES. So I have Dolapo right here with me in the studio, and together we'll take a look at or react to all the latest developments making the rounds, the end exciting world of sports. Let's start straight from the home scene. Let's take a look at the list of players in camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. There, when they had 13 or 15 players at the first training session yesterday. We know that first choice goalkeeper, he arrived during the course of the night. to join up with the rest of the boys there in Uyo yesterday at the 𝐃𝐈𝐒 Akpabio International Stadium there in Uyo. But we talk about the players who definitely have been called up by the Super Eagles of Nigeria for that World Cup games. Well, the head coach 𝐂𝐎𝐒 Stanley Nwabali, we have Amaso Basioge Adebayo Adeleye, William Troost-Ekong, who celebrated his birthday yesterday and celebrated by the players also in camp, Calvin Bassey and Benjamin Frederick. We have Felix Agu, Bright Asai Samuel. We also have Chidozie Awaziem. Like I said, it's been a long time coming for him to get invited back into the folds of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Bruno Oyemichi, Olaoluwa, Franco Yeka, the Tank, Alexander Iwobi, Rafael Oyedika, who definitely help the side to qualify for the UEFA Champions League. Fisal Bashiru with Lazio, Wilfred Edidi of Besiktas, Christatos Uche, the man who just found a new home at the age of 22. You can tell that his trajectory has definitely been a good one. Ademola Lookman, Victor James Osimhen, Tolu Arukudari, Cyril Dezas, Moses Simon, and Samuel Chukwueze. These are all the players there in camp of these Super Eagles of Nigeria. But then, the game is coming in thick and fast for the three-time African champions, and their first game is set to be that's against Rwanda. That's later this week on Friday. That's on Saturday rather. And that's by 5 p.m. Nigeria will be playing against Rwanda. But we know the importance of this game. But we'll take a listen to the words of that former Super Eagles head coach. And also, he was one of the few players who definitely made the green and white jersey for the Super Eagles. That's a beautiful one where lots of young Nigerians admire and want to put on. Let's take a listen to the words of that's Sunday Olise speaking about that's the Super Eagles of Nigeria situation going into this year's that's FIFA World Cup qualification games. We've played 6 games. Match day 7 is that against Rwanda. Let's take a listen to the words of Sunday Olise.
Qualify for the next World Cup. And people who are running football in Nigeria are still in their positions. I mean the federation. Then we don't deserve to even qualify for the next one. Because if you, as an administration, 2 consecutive World Cups don't qualify, that is worth hundreds of millions to a country's football industry. You don't qualify. There is nowhere in the world that the whole administration will not be put out. So it's up to us to decide if we're going to act or we're going to continue like this. If we want to continue to live in mediocrity, it's good. But let's just be aware that every 4 years that you don't qualify for the World Cup, your football goes back 8 years. That is how it's running. Although I still believe we can qualify, but it will kill our football. So we have to do something drastic. You cannot keep driving the same way towards Badagry and expect to find yourself in Sokoto. Lie. It can't happen. You are going the opposite direction. Nigeria does not qualify for the...
All right, today listen to the words of Sunday Olise. I was speaking about the situation in which we found ourselves. But one thing I actually picked out is you failed to qualify for the World Cup in 4 years. You are taking 8 years back. The words of Sunday Olise. Good afternoon, Dolakbo.
Good afternoon, SAMIES. Good afternoon to everyone who has joined us on the show this afternoon. Well, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I don't know what he's talking about when he said we are back for 8 years, because we didn't go to the last World Cup in Qatar, if I'm not mistaken.
That's 16 years.
So we should say we are back for 16 years. And it is not looking like we are ready to move forward anytime soon. He said we can still qualify, he believes. Yeah, based on mathematically, it is still very much possible to qualify for the World Cup. But our fate is not in our hands. We win all our 4 games. South Africa win 3 of their 4 games. They still qualify. So our fate is not in our hands. We have to win and expect South Africa to drop points. And what I'm seeing in front of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, fine. Unlike what we used to have before, the players are back in training. All of them are in training. They're in camp early, which is a good sign. Unlike what we've seen over the last few years. But still, I'm not really convinced of what this team can do. With what I've seen with the manager, 𝐶𝐈𝐒, he has not convinced me since he took over the job. The game against the Unity Cup he went to was where he performed well. But I can take those games as friendly games and games where his players were not there. Most of the guys here in this squad have not played competitive football this season. Samuel Chukwueze has not played any competitive game. Ademola Lookman have not played any competitive game. Victor Osimhen is playing in Turkey. So most of these guys are not really playing. Christatos Uche played for 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐹, but he just got his future sealed with Crystal Palace some days ago. So it's not that these guys have been playing consecutive football, unlike other guys. The Rwanda players are playing in their league. They don't really have players outside. South Africa league has been going on for 3 weeks, and their players are majorly coming from there. Only a few is playing the English Premier League and some other players in Spain, but I don't think they have up to 10 players outside. Most of their players are playing inside. So unlike the Super Eagles of Nigeria, where most of our players are out, I'm not very sure we have everything we have what it takes to qualify for this World Cup. But then we have to be patriotic, we have to try as much as possible to do things right. But with this manager in charge of this team at the moment, with what I saw at the CHAN, I'm not really sure Nigeria has a chance. I'm not really sure.
Well, the Lakpo said he's not really sure Nigeria they stand the chance of qualifying to the FIFA Men's World Cup, set to be hosted by 3 nations in North that's America, the US, Mexico, and Canada. Well, while we are discussing about all of this, a game is going on the African continent. That's Seychelles against Gabon. And for Gabon, the leader 3-0 against the Seychelles in their World Cup qualifiers. Douanga scored a hat-trick for himself in this encounter. And you see that for Gabon, they are looking primed for victory or to make it out of the group. And that's if Ivory Coast also wins their next game, which is definitely going down. That's later tomorrow. 6 in this group. For Ivory Coast, they have 16 points. Gabon, presently, they have 18 points. After 1 defeat, Ivory Coast, 0 defeats and 1 draw in 6 games. But while we are still talking about all of this, we'll talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria still. We have 7 points. That's 6 points behind South Africa in a bid to qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup. And we take a listen to the words of Dr. Mohamed Sanusi, the NFF General Secretary, also speaking about what the focus should be for Nigerians and also the Nigerian players who definitely are going to be the one to take on that's the field of play to play against Rwanda and South Africa in match day 7 and match day 8 of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Let's take a listen to what Dr.
Rely on deductions because deductions alone cannot give us victory. We must win our remaining matches. We must work towards winning our matches, and of course, that is what will happen. If we rely on FIFA and we don't win our matches, what can 3 points do for us? So we can't just rely on the 3 points, but the 3 points are very important to us.
All right, the 3 points important to us. That's if we get our victories in the last games for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But then, FIFA, I'm not sure they are having any conversation around the 3 points deduction. It's not a thing I've seen few months since we played match day 6. Yeah. And also, it's not a thing I've seen also from around that FIFA, they are moving towards the trajectory of deducting 3 points from the 13 points in which South Africa, they have in Group C of the World Cup qualifiers.
I think I talked about this on Ige yesterday evening. It's not looking like FIFA is looking into this. And even if FIFA would make a decision with the way things are going, it's looking like if they would remove South Africa's point at all, it would be after the end of the qualifiers. Maybe after they've decided or they've seen that South Africa has qualified, or removing 3 points won't do them any harm. Maybe that is when FIFA would come out with their ban or with their 3 point deduction. But at the moment it's not looking like it, because this has been close to 3 months or 2 months now that the games have been played. 3 months that they played these games, this match day 6, and FIFA has not come out to say anything. If there is going to be, if they are investigating it, you should have seen it from FIFA dropping a report saying they are looking into this. But there is no report. Everybody keep on shouting and talking about they used a player who is ineligible, but FIFA didn't come out to say anything. They didn't come out, they didn't drop any statement, they didn't say a single word. And when you look at it, we've seen coaches talk about it. I think I remember John Achor talked about it some month ago, saying FIFA should make a decision and they should talk about this. But it's looking like FIFA are turning dead ears to it. They don't want to hear anything about it, or they are not even interested in it. And I remember in 2018 when Nigeria wanted to qualify for the World Cup, the Russia 2018 World Cup, the similar thing happened to Shehu Abdullahi, Nigerian game against Algeria, and they took 3 points from Nigerian's game. Nigeria I think that was why Nigeria had to take the game to the last game where Alexander Iwobi went on to score the goal we used to qualify for the 2018 World Cup back then. And it was swift. They removed the points quickly. But at that time, there were talks of FIFA want to remove these points, and the talks keep on going. But it's looking like at the moment, the country that they used the player against, which was Lesotho, is not saying anything. They are quiet, and I feel like it's because they have no chance of qualifying from this group, and they feel like, okay, maybe we should just allow our neighboring country go. So maybe that is why they are keeping quiet. Maybe if Lesotho is also talking, maybe there would be a reaction from FIFA. But if it is Nigeria and Benin Republic that is talking, I don't think FIFA wants to make a decision or wants to remove any 3 points as at of today. Tomorrow might come out, or after the game tomorrow, and FIFA would come out to say something. When you look at the way they are handling this, if at the end of the day South Africa qualifies and they come out to remove 3 points, it would be very bad from FIFA. Because if they remove the 3 points now, Rwanda, there will be pressure. Rwanda would feel like they can qualify. Nigeria would feel like they can qualify. Benin Republic would feel like they can qualify if you win your games. And even South Africa would they'll be under immense pressure, knowing fully well that they've got 3 points from our points, and we are not having the advantage again.
Well, when we talk about advantage, for South Africa, I think they have lots of advantage. But we take a listen to the words of the head coach of the South African national team, Hugo Broos, still speaking about the 3 points deduction in which lots of Nigerians are clamoring for.
It'll be, okay, you lose the 3 points, you lose the 3 points. How can you punish then someone if there is no complaint? So it's not Lesotho who is pushing. No, Lesotho didn't make a complaint, or maybe like I have to be honest, we didn't know it. Lesotho didn't know either, so there is no complaint. What is Nigeria doing for the moment? I understand they have an opportunity now to come 3 points closer. But if we see what we did till now, why should we start doubting and be worried and be afraid? We won all the games we had to win. We did very good results in Nigeria. We won in Benin. So why being worried now and say, if they come back from 3 points, and if it's like that, it's like that. And then we have to fight for the qualifiers. Finished. This could be a normal ranking. We first, Nigeria 3 points behind, Benin maybe 4 points behind, or we 3 points behind Nigeria. That could have been normal in this group. What should we say then? So I don't think about it. I focus on the game against Lesotho, and I will focus then after Lesotho on the game of Nigeria. And we will see what the result is. But I know now that we are in a very good position and that we have to try to keep that position.
No lies, they are in a greater position to qualify to the FIFA Men's World Cup. But now the other advantage South Africa they have at this point is Tanzania. Not Tanzania now. Zimbabwe and Lesotho. They will host their matches in South Africa, which definitely is not the best for Nigeria. The remaining World Cup qualifiers for South Africa is going to be played in South Africa.
Yes, and that is it. And this is why I keep on saying they have immense advantage.
And I don't think the Nigerian Federation are doing anything to go against that.
No, there is nothing they can do against it.
No.
There is nothing. No, this is it. They've been playing the game since the start of the World Cup qualifiers.
I'm saying now, for Zimbabwe and Lesotho,
yes,
they don't have a home stadium,
yes,
right? So why should they play their home games?
They've been playing
in a nation where there can be changes.
Yes, but they've been playing it there since the start of the competition, and there were no shouts. Maybe they have talked since before the start of the World Cup qualifier, and they say they can't allow Lesotho and Zimbabwe to play at the home ground of South Africa. Maybe at the start they would have taken this to Morocco, but with 4 games to go or 2 games to go, it won't happen, because they will tell you very well. They will be very clear to you. We've been playing here before, and I think that is also one of the reasons why Lesotho is not taking this up to FIFA, because they feel like if they are sending us away from their home place to play the games, where would we play our games? So this is just it. If it was that at the start of the World Cup qualifier, before the match week 1, Nigeria, Benin Republic have come out to say we can't allow this, because I'm very sure if it was that Lesotho will be playing their home games in Nigeria, South Africa would have raised brown eyes and said, no, we don't want it. They should take it to another country. But Nigeria didn't talk, and I feel like it's because we all had the belief of, in a group that have South Africa that has not qualified for the World Cup since 2010, in a group that have Benin Republic, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, we would qualify easily. We had that mindset before things went south. We've used three games.
Why won't it go south? Because we have South Africa.
No, it didn't go well, maybe. So before things went south, we had the belief of we would beat them. Because I remember when the draw was made, I was inside the studio, and I remember we were going to play Lesotho. Krista was talking about calling a journalist he has as his friend in Lesotho And the day he wanted to call that man, the man was like, nobody in their country is working on that particular day because it's their king's birthday. And I was like, this is just like a free 3.6 points from this country. But the first game against Lesotho, we couldn't win. So we didn't prepare well
in our first 4 games.
Yeah, we were winless. We had two different coaches. And this man, 𝐒𝐲𝐒𝐒 will be our 4th coach.
I think the word starts as you deem to end.
2 games per coach.
Is actually
2 games to a coach. 2 games a coach.
It's actually good at this point because if we had a good start, I don't think we would be in this position where a draw would actually be a big issue for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And that last draw came against who? That last draw came against Zimbabwe, where we drew 1-1. That's at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium there in Uyo. Well, maybe we'll come tomorrow and still take a listen to the words of the head coach of that's the South African national team. That's Ogobros said, speaking about his game, that's his nation's game against the Lesotho. That's on Friday. They get a victory. They are true to the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. But we move away from that and still talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, where it is not good for us. We have other players in camp, but that 6-point margin between ourselves and South Africa, it's a big issue at this point. We have from 6 games to 1 win, 4 draws, and 1 defeat.
And you know the funny thing here is, there is a chance of getting a country to go and play the playoff.
And so that's how difficult it's going to be.
But look at it.
Finish second?
Cameroon, even if we finish second, I think it is the highest point.
Yes.
Now look at Cameroon. They are currently second in their group. They have 12 points.
Look,
Senegal also have 12 points. We are sitting.
Burkina Faso has 11.
We are sitting with
not only Senegal now. Sudan also has 12.
12 points.
Congo has 13. Cameroon, they have 12. Like you said, we have Ivory Coast
with 16, and they've not played their game. Gabon at the moment has 18 points. They are leading 4-0 already. So
Mozambique has 12 points.
So it's not even looking like we can finish second.
Has
12 points. Namibia.
Comoros.
Okay.
Has 12 points.
Let's move on, please.
So I think this is the actual rating now. So you look at how difficult it is for Nigeria. We are not even in contention to play in that the preliminary playoffs for the 2020. We are playing against a different
country from another continent. And when you think of a World Cup where FIFA decided to expand it, and Nigeria would be
qualifying.
That's bad.
That's how bad it is for Nigeria. I think we spent a majority of the show discussing about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but the game has concluded between Seychelles and Gabon. It is 4-0 where they won, and you say that this one's maybe sitting comfortably to make sure they qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup. But quickly, let's switch our focus away from a bit of football stories as well, because we'll come tomorrow to discuss more updates from the world of football. And this is as regards tennis. And Novak Djokovic will be up against Carlos Alcaraz in the semi-finals of the US Open. But it was not really an easy one for Novak Djokovic, as he's also aiming for his 25th major Grand Slam, as he defeated Taylor Fritz 3-1, 6-3, 7-5, 3-6, 6-4. But later today by 4:30, Felix Auger-Aliassime will be up against Alex de Minaur. But in the women's game, Marketa Vondrousova was unable to come out as Aryna Sabalenka, the defending champion of the US Open. She actually had a walkover into the next round. But Amanda Anisimova will be up against Iga Swiatek also later today, and I think that would be in the early hours of tomorrow. Jannik Sinner will be up against Lorenzo Musetti, an all-Italian quarterfinal, while Caroline Muchova will be up against Naomi Osaka. Would we actually see Jannik Sinner in the semi-finals again?
Yeah, I think we'll see Jannik Sinner in the semi-final, and I'm thinking see him in the final again. At the moment, I'm not very sure if it will be Carlos Alcaraz or Novak Djokovic in the final, because I think Novak, if he wants to win any Grand Slam, he has to avoid these two guys, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. But I think he has a chance, maybe in the semi-final against Carlos Alcaraz. Against Jannik Sinner, I'm not very sure he has a chance, especially on hard courts. But against Carlos Alcaraz, he kind of have a slight chance. And I'm not too sure even if he wins against Carlos Alcaraz, he can go on in the final to beat Jannik Sinner, who looks like someone who is in a good form at the moment. But with the way things are, maybe after this year, if he could not, Novak Djokovic now, if he could not get past Carlos Alcaraz, he should just say his goodbyes. It's not looking like he can stop any of these guys at the moment. these guys are looking like those one. Looks like the future of tennis is in their hands now. Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner. Novak still keep on trying. He wants to win that 25 Grand Slams, but these guys keep on coming his way in the semi-final, in the final, and he has to lose to them. So it looks like his time has gone. These guys are talking about the world of tennis. But I think he still has a slight chance against Carlos Alcaraz, but I'm not very sure he will be able to do that.
All right, the Lakpo is not really sure. Novak has the chance against these Gen Zs.
Yeah,
Yes,
Gen Zs.
you see that. But then, quickly, just talking about a bit of football before we leave the show. For Newcastle legend, Alan Shearer, he said that the Isak transfer is a bad look for football. Yes, I remember that sit-up conversation or interview with Shearer and Isak. More like there was a commitment to Newcastle, but guess what? Footballers, can you stick to their words? Can they stick to their words? I say no. Mohamed Salah also eat out at a fan account on X over disrespect to Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez. Lionel Messi also got an ovation at Argentina Theatre Show, but then a fan charged in Iñaki Williams' turns avoids jail. And for Anthony, the man who has joined the Real Betis, he said he turned down Bayern Munich, and as he was wanted so much by Real Betis, a place where he felt so loved for the remainder of the 2024-2025 football season. But this is how far we can go into this edition of the show. We'll come your way again tomorrow, 7:45 and also 3:30. But I've done this alongside Dolakbo. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. I'll say do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.